Hey yo, what's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie, as well as do some work on the Action Network sometimes. But on this here program, the Protect Your Neck podcast, we break down high level MMA. That's what we're going to do here today, tonight, whenever you're listening to this. Hopefully, it's before the fight. Recording this Thursday afternoon before I got to get some sparring in. So, adjusting my. There's that good that camera. Adjusting my schedule here a bit on these streams. Going to be trying to shoot for like 3 to 4 p.m. And as usual, I'll let you know where that's going down on Twitter at DanTomMMA, where I'm most active. And of course, these are streaming on YouTube on my channel, Daniel Tom MMA, on YouTube. If you want to like and subscribe, I appreciate it. I don't know if I deserve the like for being late, but I appreciate those of you like Mark Fellows, my man over there already in the chat. My man, Mark. But yeah, man, feel free to drop your questions and stuff. You guys know the deal. I usually get to it and mix it in when I can. I'll let you know what I tape studied for, which is very little, but I do already have kind of shots at where I'm going on this kind of a card. And as per usual, anyways, you can see where I end up. Again, back to the social media that I'm most active at Dan Tom MMA on Twitter. Of course, I post my picks on fight day a little bit after I post my actual main card quick picks and prognostications articles, which I'm pretty sure my picks are going to stay the same from what I give you here, but I'll let you know which ones to keep an eye out for, which ones, again, full transparency, I didn't do the full tape schmutty for. And yeah, I'm going to do a quick share of this. Back. That's rookie mistake here. But yeah, I appreciate the crap out of you guys as usual. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. We got ADCC this week, of course, Abu Dhabi Combat Club, but going down here in my backyard, Las Vegas. Tonin Galvao. Don't have really a preview of that, but I wanted to shout out the FightSite.com, Say Os Again podcasts. I don't know many jiu-jitsu podcasts outside of my guys Verbal Tap, who of course do a great job as well. So I wanted to shout the Say Os guys. I wish that podcast hit on my feed more often, but I understand. I know all the dudes that host it are good dudes who have actual lives, and it's tough to keep up with this sport, man. I wish I keep up with more like things. That's why I try to shout the people who specialize in things. Shouts to the Verbal Tap podcast. Shouts to my guy Kyle Mack over at Combat Chronicles, Combat CHR on Twitter there, and he does great as far as covering boxing, Japanese combat sports, even a bit of Muay Thai, and just mainly history, obviously, hence the name. So, shouts to people who can do things I can't. It's tough enough to do, just the UFC. I mean, even when one comes around, I mean, to make a point, obviously, to watch DJ and some of that one show, but it's just really tough, man. Even when it's my job, and I'm trying to get you guys. We actually have a decent fight night card, right? There's actually fun matches. I'm not even complaining about that, though. I will complain about the card format. You bet your ass I will. Especially when we have fight cards like this, where it's so good. Of course, that's UFC Vegas 60. It's not going to be too long of a spiel. Check the timestamps if you're listening in the future, where I break the card down from top to bottom and recap my picks and plays at the very end. But we had a good card here, and it's still kind of a crappy format, and not that deters me from doing my job and trying to get some good plays for all of us, the both of us proverbially, but for all of us here. Whether you want to follow or not, you don't have to. It's whether you want to follow or fade. I try to be a good reference point. That's it, man. Honestly there. But yeah, man, I'm not even gonna hate. Shouts to the people on the Contender Series grind. Shouts to the people on the the Japanese MMA grinds, or not that I should call it a grind, but you know what I mean. Shouts to you guys. I'm gonna do my best here, but despite having a good card, is what I'm trying to say, long-windedly, as you guys pile into the chat. Thank you very much. Is that and as I share this last link out, of course, I'm just buying time here. We'll roll right into it again. But yeah, it's we'll see where I end up, folks. We'll see where I end up. Some spots that I did study because I thought I was going to end up certain places. Actually went the other side, so maybe I'll even surprise some of you hardcore ones. I know some of you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while. Maybe you do this and don't even realize you do. I know this is something that I did, whether it was the Film Vault Top 5 podcasts, even non-MMA podcasts, where you try to guess what if it's a picks, if it's any kind of thing where you're making a picks or a list. Like, you try to start getting a beat of what the host is going to, like, oh, I bet this motherfucker's going to go for this guy, right? Like, oh, look, Dan Tom, he's not going to be able to say no to an old southpaw. So if you do that, fair game, by all means. But maybe there's some surprises today. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's some classic Dan Tom spots. So we'll see. Tweeting out the last link now. My man, speaking of Dan, my man Dan Max up in here. Makoto Kyogoku, Mary Rui. We got Jimmy Kudo, Ghost Phantom. Oh, nice. I'd love to see the crew here. There we go. We got Mark Fellows up on the screen. Greetings from Sydney. Ghost Phantom, what's up? My first time live and not an emergency podcast. And I need the intro song. Yeah, I know. We're going to be doing the original intro song. If you want to go and get my audio hit later, Dan Mac, I was going to go back to the original. I got to change it up sometimes if I'm doing after parties or the emergency pod actually didn't hit the podcast feed, but if you notice the one for, and shouts again to my guys. I don't even have my shouts ready. Wow. Thankfully, I know Guru Scouting MMA and at TB Scouting MMA, of course, from the Chronic Combat Conversations. Excellent podcast. They helped me last week, and for the recap with my guy Greg Guru, I had to use the Still Dre. Because of course, I try to do little songs like the fighters come out from, and it's crazy. I don't know if it's a shout out to my strength and conditioning coach Gil, but like that song comes on a lot at Extreme Couture when I'm doing my strength and conditioning class, and even before the event, that was coming on, and I was just like, oh, I may have to change my my walkout song here because this is a little more appropriate, for a guy making his return who's older. The game done changed. They want to know how I feel about it. Still not loving. A lot of great lyrics in there. Dan Tom is one of the... This is Jimmy Kudo. Dan Tom is one of the best. Oh, thank you. I don't know about that. So is Drake Riggs. I will agree with that. And Jack Slack. I will definitely agree with that as well. Great work as well. Thank you, Jimmy Kudo. Appreciate you being here, bud. All right. All right. Mikado Azang. Apologies on any mispronunciations, by the way. Hey, Zhang Wei Li was working with Cody Steele and Josh Hinger. Do you know them? Not familiar. Josh was 88 kg bronze medalist, and Cody lost to Ruotolo in 2019, but he is still young. Now I got to catch up with this. I mean, I got to imagine she's exposed to a lot of really good training partners with the places where she kind of partakes. But that is good to know, and I'm gonna try to mark that down and remember that live chat note. I'm curious of that now, so thank you for that, actually. Hopefully I'll hunt that down if I remember, or you're in the chat. Feel free to bother me for that, of course, for ADCC. Yeah, a lot of ADCC people are also in town here right now, which is great. Format being, I get to do a seminar on Monday with Lovato Jr. He's like my top 3, man. Like, fucking, I don't even know who my top 3 is now, because, like, one of them, unfortunately, recently passed because I really would like to take seminars with some of the best passers. Of course, I'm referring to Leandro Lowe. But Lovato Jr., I mean, his home base technique, his butterfly passing, I mean, it's just so applicable for gi, no gi, MMA. Just go watch the Musasi fight. It's like a butterfly passing tutorial. It's super sick. Should we get my name? Yeah, let's get my name on here. Look, there's me at Dan Tom MMA. So I'm really excited. We got Synchro Wing in the house, Dan Tom, Drake Wiggs, Jack Slack, and the Fight Site. Best out there. I'm appreciated just to be associated with those. Too kind. And you guys are few and far between. I appreciate it. I will say, thanks to places like the Fight Site, OGs like Jack Slack, who have been holding it down before I got on the scene, we have much more now. So I am grateful for it. I like Still Dre. I ain't hating on youngins making money. Eventually I get mine. Hopefully. Lightmare Sworn. Man, the Drake Riggs Magnum people are here. Love the passion for the good MMA content, guys, and Dan. I appreciate the passion too. Thank you. Hey, another familiar face here. Although no Avi, but still always giving love. Crumbopolis Rosen, hey Dan, always learn something new from your podcast and appreciate the game better. That means a lot, actually. That means a lot. If you guys can take something, it'd be better if I can give you guys winning bets for the gamblers and the degents in the house. But yeah, I that makes me very happy. I don't have my shouts written down, which is good for you guys. I'm going to go pay some dues to the Amazons, but I will touch on the shouts that I gave out earlier again, not just to the Chronic Combat Conversation guys, which are just good guys. Love Tyler. Love Greg, Guru TB Scouting, as you may see, as far as their Twitter handles. And, of course, my guy, AB, Aaron Bronstetter. A lot of you guys watched that. Again, I suppose you guys didn't come here for my so looks, but no, I appreciate you guys coming for the B man, AB, Aaron Bronstetter. He is the fucking man, by the way. Aaron Bronstetter, nominated for Journalist of the Year, along with colleagues of mine, along with a lot of the big names in the house like Mike Bone and Ariel, of course, Helwani and the like. So I got to shout out my guy Aaron Bronstetter, man. Great stuff from him this week. He was on the ground. Great insight. Thank you guys for tuning into that emergency podcast. He kind of gave his perspective on stuff going on behind the scenes with the scuffles and yada yada. And then we broke down the newly minted fights and, of course, recapped those. That's all on YouTube. The recap after party edition, of course, went to the podcast feeds if you're listening on a podcast and goes, why didn't we get Aaron Bronstetter? Again, you got to like and subscribe, especially if you want to comment. Daniel Tom MMA on YouTube. So that's where you got to be for that. So shout outs at Aaron Bronstetter MMA, TSN MMA Show, TSN MMA, where you could find him. He pretty much runs TSN MMA. He is TSN MMA. All right, Brad Taschuk in the house, my guy Brad. Looking forward to some mathematical analysis of the co-main event, Dan. Whatever could you mean? Co-host of the MMA analysis, of the Hog analysis. I am not about to get sued for gimmick infringement. I steal enough of your names, Brad. But yes, we will do some measuring because the measurements were a bit of a surprise. I've got some interesting ones. Not the ones maybe you're looking for, but we can pontificate. We can, just like I'll be pontificating with these purchases. Let's see what was bought in the last week, the last 7 days. Of course, mixedmartialanalyst.com is my website, folks, and I say that because it hosts this here podcast, the Protect Your Neck podcast, where you can find archived episodes, old archive breakdowns that are poorly written and probably poorly predicted. Actually, there wasn't some really good years when I was just had that focus there. But nevertheless, it's for the podcast and for the click-throughs. Of course, you could toggle to the right. There is a secure PayPal donation if you want to support this free podcast that, for whatever reason, I am, aside from the lack of popularity and lack of my business savvy is still free and not behind a paywall for 7 years running, majority of a decade. So you want to support the show, you can do that. Of course, Twitter at DanTomMMA, my link tree, there is a secure donation link there as well, as long with all the contacts and fun stuff. As well on the toggling to the right, though, back to mixedmartialanalyst.com that hosts this year's show. Toggle to the right, scroll down, you get the Amazon, you get the On It click-throughs in case you do any shopping there. All you do basically is you click through the link through no extra cost. You do your regular shopping, and a small percentage of your purchase will be kicked back to this here program at no extra cost to you. But if you do it through the Amazon link, it does tell me what you buy. Now, it doesn't give me any information on any of these links, folks, and neither does it for the Amazon link. But it does tell me what was bought. It doesn't tell me who. So if you want to have a David Carradine one night in Bangkok, go throw the karate gi on, get the rope that's gentle on the skin, get the nunchucks that vibrate, whatever you want to do. There's a judgment-free zone. We don't got to know it's you. I will pontificate. I will have my suspicions for some of the listeners that I know, but we will not know it's you. Of course, you can support the podcast that way, the fun way, of course. I mean, I'm not saying you have to buy those things, but you get what I mean. You just buy your Amazon stuff. You don't have to do a night in Bangkok. That was just for a cheap joke that I always repeat here. So let's see what was bought. Link by performance here. Yannings. Oh, wow. Someone bought a basic laboratory calculations for biotechnology. I don't know if it's the kind of calculations that Brad's looking for, hashtag hog analysis, but I'm sure you can calculate some crap. Biochemical calculations. How does... Okay, if I get asked by the FBI on any of these click-throughs, folks, listen. As long as I can, these cannot be tied back to me. Buy away. But no, just kidding. That was very irresponsible. Please no terrorist activity through my click-throughs. Gotta say that for legal purposes. But no, this actually looks. I should have kept reading. Biochemical calculations, colon, not Butt and not Powell, colon, how to solve mathematical problems. Okay, well that's something completely different. I got a little worried there. I was like, what do they have, plutonium? Like, Marty, I'm sure in 1985 you could buy plutonium through someone's Amazon link, but what are you doing here? You know, I was like, what are you guys doing, man? Turning me off. I'm in my Doc Brown moment over here. National Laboratory Notebook, 4x4 quad rolled back to school. Rodney Dangerfield, baby. Wow, Dan, how many more 80s references? You make fun of your old ass for 90s references. Why don't we go to the 80s, you fucking boomer? Basic binder and dividers with 5 insertable color tabs. Scotch transparent tape. Thank you, by the way, for buying all these, by the way. And if you're buying it for a kid, that's a really good parent of you. You know, good parent there. Amazon Basics multi-purpose office scissors. Don't run with the scissors, folks. Work Lion 3 ring hole punch for portable puncher. Great Eagle Lightning Corporation A19 LED light bulb. Someone bought a Evistar waterproof storage travel bag carrying case for an MP3 player. MP3 player? We still have MP3 players? Oh, I want to get like an old iPod, like an iPod Mini. Wasn't that? Yeah. No, I got a good setup for running. Like, I haven't ran in so long. I'm like, let's see if these AirPods work, because I literally haven't ran since I've had AirPods. It's just been fun. Need to step up the road work though. Kai loose leaf paper filler. All right, more F-Star digital voice recorder. A voice recorder. Hello, Sydney. Sorry. That was a amateur acting job I had. Someone did a spoof of the Scream movies, and they wanted to save money, so they just had me do the voice. That was unpracticed. Don't worry. It's probably like Mike Cartman, Nate Diaz at this point. Pencil case for school students, girls, boys, and large capacity. Somebody bought for boys, large capacity. Okay. Blue Sky 2022-2023 academic year monthly planner. All right. That's it for that section. And there is one purchase, I believe, in the... Nope. Is that an old one? Yeah, I think these are old. No, I read off those movies from last time. I also appreciate the movie purchases, though, too, as well. That's always fun to pontificate if you guys... I know everything's digital these days, but it's nice. There are some film nerds amongst you that, and I say that with all due love, because I am myself. Of course, this mixedmartialanalyst.com, of course. All right. We're going to get on with the breakdowns. A couple shouts in the chat, because I got to get to my man, Alvin Yakitori. Greetings, Honorable Mr. Tom. We should always be cognizant of all the hard work fighters do to prepare for fights. Let's be fans of the fighters and then the entertainment of the fights. I agree with that, Alvin, and even though I don't want to crack back into a recap, I want to push on. We'll be getting to the breakdown here in a couple minutes for UFC Vegas 60 from top to bottom. I think that's a very, very appropriate point, Alvin, especially coming off this last week where, people were complaining about, like the Lee Rodriguez fight, for example, or just these fights were piling on to Holland, or just any of the fighters that, especially the ones that unjustly had to kind of, adjust themselves, man. And when you have to fight someone different, it's completely different. It really throws you off. It's something to keep in mind. We'll talk about that with some of these fighters when you go back to some of their sample sizes. Like we'll talk about Cheating Ninja Kawani. I forget he was originally supposed to face Malvin Manhoff, an old, stout Dutch Muay Thai orthodox stance kickboxer, and he got a fully fledged southpaw wrestling jiu-jitsu John Salter, right? And that was the last time he got submitted. So it's like you got to kind of keep those things in mind, before we start slinging mud. And myself too, man. This goes for me, folks. By the way, this goes for me, which is why I appreciate the heck out of my guy, Alvin Yakitori. Dan Mack, I'd be lying if I said I came to watch something because, the draw. No, Aaron's a man. Aaron is the man. Dan Mack. But thank you. I appreciate it. And by the way, I appreciate you, Dan Mack, but if you look at the numbers, Aaron is the draw, buddy. Aaron is the draw. And he deserves to be. So that's why I really wanted to give him the shout for Journalist of the Year. By the way, he's going to be trying to like buck for photographer of the year. Did you see those 90s like style disposable photos? Those were badass, man. I retweeted it on my timeline at Dan Tom MMA, or you should go find it on Aaron's timeline at Aaron Bronstein MMA. Those were awesome. Thank you, Dan Mac, for contributing. Zhao Chiu, are you a fan of Zhang Wei Li's elbow game? Yeah, it's definitely. I'll probably look at it more when it comes time for her and have more to say about it. But until then, I can just woo and ah, honestly, in genuine fashion with the rest of you. Moses Rocco, Shimon. All right. He knows how to get me to react. Dan Mac, really disappointed. Nate didn't shout out Sacramento Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Yeah, Sacramento Chevrolet, motherfucker. My beanie, motherfucker. Sorry, my eye just starts going all when I do my Nate Diaz. It's like you gotta. So I do the same thing with walking. I don't know why, but my eye gets all cocked and good impressionists, which aren't me, but good impressionists say you have to kind of do a little facial expression and say shit they wouldn't say. Although, you could say stuff Nate would say, and it's still funny. All right, let's get on to the breakdowns, folks. We've chatted long enough, 20 minutes more than enough time. Let's get to this breakdown. UFC Vegas 60, UFC Fight Night 210, UFC Fight Night Sanhagen Yadong, or Sanhagen Song. How did they do it on the poster, by the way? Because it should be, Sanhagen Song. Yep, okay, they did it right. Good job. Of course, saying Song Yadong is much more, rolls off the tongue much more fun depending on who you ask or how you imply it. But, of course, the proper way is Song Yadong. So Song referring to as the last name. Of course, you read my breakdown, which isn't out yet. But when I do it, I use the, I still try to do AP style as well as acknowledging the proper Chinese style surnames. So I just refer to him as Song throughout my my breakdown. So no immature giggles. Sorry, folks. But we got Corey Sanhagen minus 190 Song Yadong Song plus 160. Okay, yeah, it's staying fairly around that range. Sanhagen open minus 160. Yeah, this fight, this fight could feel a lot like John Lineker Sanhagen, which was, John Lineker had a very good argument, so you should go back to watch that. Keep in mind impactful shots, yada yada. It's more than an argument to score that for John. Hence, it was a split decision. Not that close fights can't be unanimous decisions or vice versa. By the way, but I'm just saying as a general. By the way, I don't know. Is it just me? And I totally get that, and I side with the people who do this. So I'm not hating on anybody who does this, and everybody does this. So I'm definitely not hating folks. But whenever someone makes fun of the ignorant fan or the Twitter fan, right, and the replies of I didn't agree with that decision. It was a rivalry. Should have at least been a split. I know there should have been a split is something we love to make fun of. It's the lowest hanging fruit that we all can bat 1,000 and I guess look good on. But for me, I don't know. I don't really feel the need to shit on that. I get it. And usually it is attached to maybe an ignorant person, an ignorant comment, or at the very least a well-meaning but ill put energy comment. Put the energy is put in the wrong kind of spot, right? But at the same time, do we have to pretend that we don't get what they're saying at the same time? That essentially, it was, and not that I talk about this or I will or I'm encouraging you or saying you should, because you shouldn't. Again, I'm on the side with people that do this, but I feel it's we're picking on the short bus, so to speak, somebody who could have fit the proverbial short bus with my Tourette's. I'm not throwing improper shade, but it does feel like we're throwing rocks at the short bus whenever we choose that to poke at somebody when we know what they were saying. If we want to argue the other stuff, or we want to argue the general sentiment of whether or not something's a robbery, that's fine. I have these conversations here as well. But I always found that funny because I'm just I totally get what they're saying. And again, those of us who are criteria, nerds and care about that stuff or try to reference it in our work, and again, that's me too. I'm throwing rocks at myself here. Once you really understand that, how you I don't want to use the word easy, but how easy it can be to make an argument for things, especially in close fights and how we define them and how we score them. There are plenty of fights every week where we can justify scores either way. Yet we're going to pick on people who are And I'm surprised they didn't end up on the other side of that one. When at the same time, when judges end up on the other side, and I'll defend the judges too, folks. I've been trying to be better about auditing myself and giving them benefit of the doubt. So again, this is no shade that I'm not throwing on myself here. But we'll defend them if they end up on opposite sides. But if a casual fan says that, oh no, I'm surprised the judges didn't end up on opposite sides. We lose our shit. We gotta shine the spotlight on them. Look at this. We gotta be like Willem from Mallrats. You dumb bastard, to the little girl, right? Like, come on. We get what they're saying. Anyways, random rant, I know, but I always hear that, and I'm like, why are we wasting the energy throwing rocks at these people? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, Channel DX, people seeing Corey's losses and counting him out, big mistake. That could be a narrative, but the line actually is going up on Corey Sandhagen's side. But hello back to you, Channel DX, Brad Taschuk. If Corey was terrified of Lineker, imagine how scared he'll be of Yadong. It depends on... God damn it, you want me to Yadong to? God damn it, Brad. Damn it. Depends which dong we're talking about. No, you know what? It does depend which dong we're talking about because, no, seriously, it depends what song we're talking about because he's been, he went back to pressuring and countering, which is ultimately his game at heart. I feel like he's best at. I feel like it's the best way to approach a 5-round fight, especially stylistically with a guy like Sandhagen. We have seen him get a little more with his footwork where he can play off the back foot, and Sandhagen will take instances in fight where he will pressure and kind of force himself, to go forward, even if he's largely playing back foot for different reasons to guys like TJ and Jan, right? So it's going to be really curious. I'm going to count on more of the Lineker approach and the more of, I should say, the Song approach of just pressuring and countering. I think that's going to be the best, particularly the left hand. If you look at left hands coming forward off the counter, orthodox, southpaw, straights or hooks, those are what's hitting Sandhagen the most. I know Song is mainly known for his right hand, but I think the left hand is actually, in the follow-up, especially off that initial right, whether he's going forward or following up his counter shot, that left is going to be worth watching for as far as Sandhagen. But at the end of the day, Sandhagen has a good chin, good cardio, good recoverability, really hard to deter. I like his mentality. He can still, be arguably losing large portions of a fight in a 5-rounder and still come back and have a decent good late round. And he hasn't been stopped. Now, I don't know if his durability is like, Hawaiian kickboxer Max Holloway level. I don't know if his building is as, can get that kind of tied, the same kind of title weight tie as a Max Holloway round 4, Ortega can, right? Or Holloway Cater can, right? But he is a builder. And again, not that I say that this reminds me of Jose Aldo and Max Holloway, not to make direct comparisons. And it's also not to say that Song or Sandhagen can't be great or aren't great or in the process of being great, because they definitely have that on the table. I am absolutely believers in both of these fighters' ceilings, which is what makes picking this fight so hard. But if this is more like Aldo and Holloway, and Song, even though he's made improvements on his cardio, that's been big focuses of his camp. Even in a fight that he lost, he actually had a decent round 3, and then he had a decent round 3 in a fight that he won recently as well. So you could look at those 2 fights and count that as trends in the right direction, absolutely. But is it enough, though, is the question. He's certainly working on it. His camp certainly knows. He certainly knows. But this is still his first 5-rounder in the UFC. He's had a 5-rounder before to a guy named Renat something, who he previously lost a 3-round fight to. So that guy might have just had his number, right? Russian cat. He fought some decent Russian talent crossing over there, who I believe doesn't have the most terrible record if you go to him now, I want to say. But yeah, that was one 5-rounder. I didn't go back to watch that. I'm not even sure if it's available. But he lost to that guy both twice. Was it a stylistic thing or a cardio thing? Could have been both, right? Considering he has the previous loss and considering what we've seen for the bulk of his career, which is potential cardio. He's super athletic, but like these guys, like even the Aldos, they need their pockets. They need their pockets to recoup. So I think this could go 5 rounds, as I was initially it was more less the pick than does this fight go the distance or not, right? Because Song can go 5 rounds, and if he can go 5 rounds, be the more impactful striker, maybe there's even an outside shot that it's not KO or bust. That, at least to me, what it would seem from the surface level looking at this fight. But again, maybe not a Max Holloway builder, but a builder nonetheless. A guy that's been trying to focus on his volume until he ran into guys who were better builders, or arguably better counter strikers than Peter Yan, or OG builders who were focused on wrestling and winning round optics like TJ Dillashaw in the small cage. Small cage is definitely in play for this one, and that's made me pick against Sandhagen before. His cage positioning, it's why I picked Dillashaw and Yan to beat him. And I feel like that did play a decent factor. I talked about the back exposures, which is why I picked Aljo and Dillashaw to beat Sandhagen. So my Sandhagen, I like Sandhagen, but when I do pick against him, it's pretty accurate. You know me, man. I got love for Chinese athletes who can finally start tipping the scales. I mean, commentators, especially if you're listening, if anyone's listening to this on the off chance. I know I'm lucky enough to where you read my articles. I don't blame you for not listening to this, but if you are, can we balance out the explosive thing? I hate saying explosive because it feels like borderline racist, where it's just like, we're just talking about a certain race all the time as being explosive and not really talking about their skills as an athlete or as a player, which is a problem. The opposite for us Asians, we always get, no matter how good we are, we're always, he's so unassuming. Oh, he's so unassuming. Oh, yep, he's unassuming though. He's unassuming. With a guy like Song Yadong, he's the perfect guy. Can we please balance the scale? I want to hear some explosive. Like, I put explosive athlete, We don't get, we barely get athlete, much less explosive, even when we are explosive athletes. Let's, it's kind of that unspoken, I'm definitely not trying to add to the calling everything racist. Oh, everything's racist these days. This is something I've been saying since I was a kid. It's just something I noticed. Why did we always say we're going up to the Hamptons and down to Compton? Why can't we say we're going up to Compton and down to the Hamptons? It gets that finite, folks. It's this funny, it's this class race kind of thing that's almost built into the language, and you see that in sports commentary. So, call the Chinese guy explosive, man. Give the Asians the explosive love, baby. We deserve it. All right. Rant done. JP Ford, my guy. How goes training? Exciting to compete? Yes. I'll answer more of that later, but it's good to see you, JP Ford. And back to Alvin Yakitori's quote, the training is definitely giving me appreciation for what these fighters go through. Ghost Phantom says, can Song cage cut and punch the body with the left hook? And can Song take advantage of hitting during a stance switch? That's definitely going to be, I think he can. The body is going to be more of a question. As far as taking advantage of hitting during a stance switch, that is something that Song has excellent with, not just athleticism, when you actually want to talk about the skill. Because again, I'm not going to commit the crime on my Chinese brother that the commentators commit on my black brothers and sisters, which is not talk about the skill. And Song's athleticism, what it really is, it's really a superb and impeccable proprioception. He has excellent eyes and exchanges, so he can both spot things and put the ball on the target, which is even more important. Alex Pareja has incredible proprioception. Someone was talking about the gloves, about it not helping Izzy. In the bigger gloves not helping Izzy, helping more Pereira. And I would agree with that off surface look. I haven't broken that down yet, but there's a clip just today, for example, talking about what proprioception is and how certain athletes have it, and why, surprise, surprise, athletes with good proprioception aren't too bad in the counter and spotting opportunities. You see Alex Pereira with his bow and arrow, he's already a badass with, and it's already my favorite long shot gif of him shooting the bow and arrow. But he's dribbling the soccer ball, and he pops the soccer ball up, and he catches the soccer ball with the arrow on the way down. That is pure proprioception. That is not just being able to commit the athletic moves of both kicking the ball and shooting the arrow, but being able to place him and shoot on fire on a moving target accurately. Working with multiple parts of your body and another that's moving and trying to target a target that is moving. I mean, proprioception at its finest. Song has it in spades, folks. If he's able to become the first person to stop Sandhagen, we shouldn't be surprised. And if you're like me and are still leaning with Sandhagen and Sandhagen, spoiler alert, inside the distance, that's right, he's got the .17s loaded. Bam, 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 3, 4, 5. If you're doing that typical move, I know, surprise, surprise. And Dan Tom's going with the more proven guy. He's going with the builder who has to survive early to come on late. Of course, again, I don't always go with this, folks. In fact, I've gone against it quite a lot lately, which is why I bring up that dynamic. But at the same time, I can still call out my biases. In fact, it's healthy for us all to call ourselves out, especially our biases, if we're trying to be critical and get something done meaningfully, even if it's something silly like picking a fight. But yeah, I am going to go with Sandhagen. But yeah, I don't fault anybody taking the shot on Song. And again, if you think Sandhagen gets it done inside the distance, maybe you bet according to that. As far as unders, fight doesn't go the distance. Although that plus 120 looked pretty sweet on Sandhagen decision, because I do think he can get it. But the thing is, the small cage, right? Okay, well, the back exposure with Dillashaw, again with Jan, cage positioning, it's still a factor. I mean, it's still a factor that could serve Yadong well, especially if he hits the body and cuts the cage, like my guy Ghost Phantom in the chat. Shouts to him. Good analyst there. Said, right? But the thing is, he's not going to have the wrestling like Dillashaw. He's not going to have the building instincts that we've seen yet. And the cardio certainly, at least so far as we've seen, to be a struggle, although it is improving. We're now in a 5-round fight. I don't know if those later rounds and the cage positioning start having those dividends pay as it would in those other stylistic fights. Furthermore, Song, even though he can take a back, and he's actually has really good ground and pound, serviceable wrestling, that athleticism definitely translates to his actual wrestling skills. You almost think he's maybe has a Sanda background or something, because he is used to takedowns being mixed in on him with the strikes, and can do it every once in a while himself. But the thing is, again, that gas tank, and we'll talk about in the co-main event, I think it's going to make Song tire if he does that. You look at the amount of grappling and stuff. I think that'll tire him. I think he's gonna be wanting to manage his output in general, just because it's his first 5-round fight. Times that by 2 at least, because he's had past cardio issues in the past that he's acknowledged and admitted. And then you're gonna have a volume guy, and and I remember people were criticizing Sandhagen for shooting takedowns. He's in his defense, he's mixed in takedowns before that Jan fight that people were criticizing him for, and I actually think that move serves him well in this fight, because again, even if he's not getting it on Song, who can be taken down, though in Song's defense it's usually his takedowns, someone's timing him perfectly coming forward, throwing a kick, throwing a power shot, and they're ducking under. It's like a perfect timing deal. Generally, Song has really good, again, proprioception eyes. He spots, he hooks, he shovels underhooks to defend takedowns. But even if Sandhagen fails and he does get shucked and sprawled on, he's going to be making Song work, and I don't think Song is going to be able to submit BJJ brown belt Sandhagen. I know Song's been getting better, so we have to leave room to account for that. But lest we not forget, Sandhagen is also young, and Sandhagen's very smart as well. So not only is he also in the window to make improvements, we have not seen him in about a year, folks, but he's been specifically trying to make improvements to parts of his game. Again, take what fighters say for a grain of salt, but he is saying exactly what you want to hear. He's working on shoring up the holes in his game, which is, going to be stuff that he's going to need to shore up against a guy like Song. So basically, I think this is more like a Holloway Aldo, its own version of it. And I think that not only does the small cage, like I was rounding the point on, doesn't stylistically favor Song as much, not saying that it doesn't, as much as Jan and Dillashaw as it did. And the reason why, back to why I think that this fight is not going to decision, is because of that small cage. Because, in fact, I think that the small cage, which is no surprise, this is something that backed up by both statistics and common sense, it encourages more action. So, whether it's Song with his hand raised or Sandhagen, I just think it's going to encourage too much. It's going to be either Sandhagen going too much into the power shots where it eventually does him in, or he survives that storm. Song gasses himself up trying to keep up with the pace, / maybe hurting Sandhagen in an early round, thinking he's going to get him out of there and doesn't. Now he's really at a deficit, and Sandhagen recovers and builds his way back in. I think it's going to be something like that, and it's just going to be too much scrambles. It's going to encourage too much grappling, too much action, too much striking, too much exchanging. Let's see what fight to not go the distance is. I only sprinkled on, yes, my 3 shots. 0.17. You load the clip. Round 3, 4, 5, Sandhagen. But let's see. Fights to go over 1.5 minus 165. Fight goes to under 1.5 plus 127. That's plus money if you want to use that under. You still get plus money. The fight doesn't go to decision. But again, now you're at that point kind of really invested, possibly, right? Maybe that's plus money. Maybe I use that for a round where I don't want heavy investment. I want to enjoy my night and just maybe, catch a bonus like the UFC San Diego, where the only plays I had was Chito Vera, 3, 4, 5, and that closed out a really nice night in San Diego. So that's where I'm going. Gonna look at the chat for any more Sandhagen song questions and push on. Let's see. Do you feel, my man Ghost Phantom, do you feel like Sandhagen will pick Song apart in the middle of the cage? Song has a chance if he puts Sandhagen towards the cage where his only ways are left and right. I mean, yeah, the cage crowd is going to be huge. I'll be curious on that. I know Team Alpha Male's more on the outside, staging their stuff from the outside, whether you're looking at old school Faber, Josh Emmett, more active fighters, right? But they smartly did a lot. I don't know if they have some kind of gym deal, but do a lot of cross training with CSA, who's got what's his name there? I think Connor Rebush does scouting for this coach as well. What's that guy's name? Fitzsimmons or Fitzgibbons or something like that. But yeah, so they're you've seen striking improvements from a lot of their guys too, especially like boxing, like Feely, right? Song. So we'll see. Hopefully there's footwork there, because if it was old school Team Alpha Male traditional, I wouldn't count on it. Count on the themes, but they're absolutely crucial themes. And Team Alpha Male, to their credit, has gotten a lot better. It really, I don't want to say outsourcing, but from the outside perspective here, I never trained there, folks. Just saying from what I see on the outside and from the results in the cage. Channel DX, Yadong has the better footwork and can get inside, but Corey is rangy and tricky to deal with. Yeah, different styles of footwork for sure. Just because Corey, again, just because the one guy moves better or more flashier doesn't make him the better footwork fighter, and that doesn't mean that or at least the very least doesn't mean that the other fighter's footwork is bad or poor, right? We saw a lot of that with the Taito Ivasa or Ogan. Taito Ivasa still was waiting for his things to counter, leg kicking, and counters, right? So it's. We got to see what they choose here, but that's a great point to bring up. Dan Mack, you could make the entire main event That's What She Said buffet for insert Michael Scott jokes. Yeah, I'll leave that to everybody else, man. It's not just my love for even though I'm not picking the Chinese fighter, not just my love for the Chinese fighter side, but no, you know me, I'm a hipster, as you can see, I'm a hipster motherfucker. So if everybody's making the joke, I'm like, they really need me to make the joke, right? Just like with the Khamzat Chimaev, it's everybody's just lining up even after this guy ruins an event. I got to hear all my media colleagues still going, making excuses for him. Like, come on, man, like, let the promotion do that stuff. Like, I don't know, like, and then the fans are all just still lining up. Like, everyone's lining up to give this guy a handy. Like, do I really need to be in line? And of course, we get some, what are you going to hit? This brother? He's fucking, where are you going to talk shit at undefeated fighters, Dan? I just, not talking shit. I'm asking, do I have to get on my knees and suck can I just move on with my day? Can I? Anyways, Zhao Chiu, how good of a camp is Team Alpha Male? Hey man, they're churning him out. I've seen some that I didn't feel were ready, but again, this is a weird era of fights as far as like Contender Series, and that's Contender Series, and this is kind of a weird era where maybe it was short notice. Who knows? I'm sure Uriah Faber is doing really well. It's a very profitable camp, I'm sure. Is it a good camp? Yeah, I mean, obviously it is. I'm not going to say that it's not. Of course, I'm not going to be disrespectful. I was just citing their improvements. So, yeah, they're an improvement camp, a name camp. And I think improving is the key word. I like seeing them outsource and get more influences like that, I like that attitude, of expansion as far as that goes. All right. The rest of these are I'm going to get to you guys on the Hickman and the Zhang Wei Li comments. I want to get through this breakdown, and we'll pick up on non-breakdown questions at the end. Chidi Ninja Kwani minus 125. Hobo Cop, baby. Gregory Rodriguez, Hobo Cop. He's got some robotic parts, and no one can stop him. Yeah, man. He's just got a piston... multiple pistons, this guy, everything, his jab hurts, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys know I'm a big fan of Hobo Cop here. What did he open up as? Hobo Cop opened as the dog. Okay, that makes sense. And Chitty opened as minus 145, and now we got Chitty minus 125. Hobo Cop plus 105. Money coming in on Hobo Cop, huh? That's where I was initially looking, I was like, ooh, maybe we get a cheeky Hobo Cop by decision. I know people were thinking submission. I know better than to blindly believe in Hobo Cop's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu capabilities. We know that the cop and the VJJ connection is strong, but Hobo Cop likes using his guns, baby. He is a cop at heart because he loves getting in the firefights. He just gets in and you're just like shoot. He's against a pure kickboxer, Armin Petrosian. He waits to the 10-minute, like the 7 to 10 minute mark before he starts looking for takedowns. And again, back to what I was saying about Song, who, by the way, Song started he started in the Shaolin Temple, baby. He went there like 6 years after my last visit to the Shaolin Temple. Before older heads like me and Dan Hardy were out there. I didn't know Dan Hardy out there. I just know he was out in the same temple the same year, the same summer as me, 2002. So that would be actually 7 years then, because Song was 2009. Anyways, the guy started off in MMA stuff with more grappling, but grappling is tiresome, and I wonder if that is the case with Rodriguez, Hobo Cop, because in the fights where he grappled more, he definitely got tired. Don't mind the doggies. Oh, the dog's barking. Who's the dog here? Hobo Cop's the dog. But yeah, he got tired, right? So I don't know how much we count on that. Whereas Chidi Ninja Kwani has shown improvements, right? Like, there were some suspect takedowns that he was able to quickly reverse, granted, but it just did not look good. Those takedowns against Mario Souza was able to hit, even a guy who's not known for his wrestling, right? Again, Chidi immediately took him down and dominated him on the ground the whole fight. So I'm really just highlighting one part, but still, you gotta kind of look at these things because Hobo Cop has good takedowns, whether he's doing Uchimatas from the clinch, hip toss trips, or level changing doubles against the fence, right? The thing is, even though he's fancy and he will do acrobatic stuff like that brief scramble to Suloev stretch off the back take against Petrosian, at the same time, he's not exactly the type to exactly hustle to keep position, whether he's going for a submission or not, which is seldom that he'll go for the submission. He wants certain positions. He'll see what you get. He almost is a little too lax. And I wonder if that's how much of it that is his style and how much of he's afraid to not afraid like he's just scared, but you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to gas, man, because that is something to be afraid about. It is. So I'm not hating when I say that, but I think it's a little bit of column A and column B. How much? Who knows? But I just think that's the safe answer here. So it's hard to depend on him for grappling, but you look at his striking and it's really good. But here's where I started to turn, what I realized in a lot of the striking stuff, not so much that, is he like a secret glass cannon, like does he have some Johnny Walker feels to him, which, be careful about judging a fighter that way. Again, be respectful of their chances, be respectful of them. But I don't blame anybody for getting those vibes. I get it. But when I went back to look at the Jordan Williams fight, right? Now, here's the theme here, obtuse on the surface level. It's like, the dude has trouble against former welterweights, right? If you look at Gregory Rodriguez, minus Armin Petrosian, who fought at light heavyweight, obviously. Jordan Williams was able to rock him. Smaller guys have been able to rock him. I don't know if Jung Young Park used to fight at welterweight. Maybe he's just smaller, so I'm thinking about that. The guy Bruno Lopez, by the way, people compare the Hobo Cop to Jacare. It's funny because they both started their fight off with a knockout loss to, semi-notable dudes. Bruno Lopez, I believe, is still undefeated, and he's fighting at LFA. I'm surprised, and I think he's 80% finish rate. He only has 2 decisions, and he's undefeated still. And he's down at welterweight now. I'm sure he knocked out Hobo Cop back in 2014 at middleweight. So I'm curious to see this guy when he comes back up the scene. Jordan Williams, of course, diabetic, has trouble cutting to welterweight, but is a natural welterweight. And arguably beat everybody else, including Petrosian, which I'm not as hung up on. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on any rants here. That was a close fight. But yeah, but the thing is, he goes close, and we'll get to that fight too, because again, there's another thing. It's like, why do you have to watch tape, Dan? You know these fighters. It's like, yes, but you don't know these fighters as good as you think. Even a guy like Chidi, who I feel like I've been watching forever, I had to go back and refresh myself and go, oh yeah, this is the stuff I was watching on Chidi. This is why I liked him, and I cashed on him inside the distance, even though I was completely wrong on his Marc Andre fight. I don't know what I was smoking there, but that's why I cashed on him on his last fight with the exact method. I was watching his fight and his clinch stuff and this and that. I'm like, okay, I remember now. And then more often you have to watch it from a different perspective. Like, I've broken down that Armin Petrosian Hobo Cop fight a bunch of times, but watching it from this perspective, which was much different, because not only was it so much, fast guys who maybe fought at, lighter weight classes, which is a dumb connection to make, but just a surface level connection. We go deeper into the pie. What else is there? Left hands. Jordan Williams is a southpaw. Not a lot of southpaws on his record. Maybe it's just a southpaw thing. Chidi will go southpaw. But when I watch the other fights, like even from Todorovic and Jung Young Park, left hands were the things that were hurting him the most in those fights too, and he won those fights. Even Armin Petrosian, who mainly got up on kicks point-wise with leg kicks, and as far as major damage, it was that body kick where he hits guys with the knee, tends to hit them, right? Which, probably should have saw coming, because, watching footage up to the Petrosian fight, you see Hobo Cop dipping, kind of overly dipping, and you're like, this guy's just asking to eat a head kick. So that shot that he ate from Petrosian, he was almost asking for that, and it's something to keep in mind here as well. But what Petrosian hit him with, though, was a checking left hook that I didn't see. That was one of his best punches that Petrosian lands on him in the fight. So again, what's the other connection here? Left hands, whether they're from southpaw, whether they're from orthodox. But not just left hands, checking left hands off the counter. And the ones that weren't off the counter were offensive left hands. But what was the common thread with those? Whether it was Dusko's best shots, Jung Young Park's best shots, fights that even Hobo Cop won. They were, a lot of them were later in the round, sure, but a lot of them came off timing changes. And something I really love about Chidi's game is that he doesn't just switch stances, but he throws a lot of timing changes. He plays with the front kick from southpaw, which is just so huge. It's just such a big weapon that we're seeing. Dimitri is setting up this, something that I don't want to get into it because I'm really messing with it with my game. But one of the many weapons from that is that he'll feint the front kick from southpaw and throw that counterbalancing punch off the same shot. This is actually a perfect segue to pay condolences to Elias Theodorou. Elias Theodorou would get mistaken for having a background of mixed martial arts, tradition, maybe even coming from traditional styling, because A, he caught on very fast, which was another amazing thing about Elias' story. He walked into an MMA gym in his 20s. He started late in life. But B, he did things that like only traditional martial artists would do. Some real, or like, real slick, like Muay Thai guys like Chidi will do. And real slick timing changes off it. We can get so robotic, especially with more American / MMA, North American / MMA centric kickboxing Muay Thai, where it's jab, cross, hook, left, right, left. It can get robotic depending on how you're doing it and how you're applying it. Of course, not hating on the arts, obviously, but just how it can be applied, especially stereotypically. Not always, stereotypically in certain regions. But Chidi does something that another middleweight, Elias Theodorou, rest in peace, is fucking awful. I didn't even know the guy, so I'm not going to pretend, but it made me feel like, and I feel bad even saying it because I have no right to. I wasn't friends or close with the guy, but like, That made me feel fucking all sorts of it, dude. Guy's so young and just, a lot of young people die, and it shouldn't matter if you're good looking or popular or any of those things, but this is just good dude. Anyways, Elias would do this too, where you kick and it's counterbalancing is what you're doing. And to counterbalance the kick coming down, you can throw a punch off the same side. Now, you can argue that it doesn't have the same power, but using it in a counterbalancing motion and hitting in the right spot, pinpoint accuracy, placement, all that stuff, you actually can stun someone with it. You're also catching them off guard, which is a huge point of it too. And Chidi does that a lot. He also does a lot of whether he's shifting to southpaw or shifting to orthodox from southpaw on the retreat. Stuff that like real advanced strikers will do. Sandhagen's been playing with this a lot. Adesanya does it. But Chidi just really attaches some wicked, real unique timing even to those guys' checks, particularly with his left, that are just, whether he's counterbalancing his offense with the kick or he's checking with the left. They're so quick, and I feel like that's going to hit Rodriguez here. I came in looking to bet Rodriguez. Having a feeling. I got a feeling the hobo cop's gonna get a decision. Do the helicopter in the middle of the ring. Maybe not that, but you know what I'm saying. Like that was how I was like coming into this fight. I'm probably just drunk off my hobo cop love. Like, whoa, what do we got here? Breaking down the tape. There are things that you got to remind yourself is why you have to watch the tape. Because A, you don't think you know the fighter as well. B, you don't know them in the context. And C, which is the best, now it doesn't always happen, and it doesn't mean you're right, of course. But C, sometimes things pop up organically that you never saw before, right? And for me, it is obviously this checking left hand that I can see all day. So I actually am going to side with Chidi. I don't know if we'll get him to plus money, so what I did, because again, there's just so many ways that this fight can go. Hobo Cop could knock him out. Hobo Cop could submit him. Hobo Cop could win by decision. You're getting plus money on the guy who can win by more methods. I don't blame anybody. Plus money on the better grappler in the small cage. Plus money on the guy, who may not be the more experienced overall MMA fighter, but maybe has slightly more UFC rounds and time experience. However you want to justify your shot. Believe me, I'm not hating on it, which is why I want to be careful my exposure of this. But I actually played Rodriguez by KO. It opened at like plus 300 to plus 250. I unfortunately late Larry over here, left hook Larry. There's late Larry, just trying to get what I can and not get any Coney Island whitefishes stuck to the bottom of my shoe because I showed up late to the gangbang. But I took a little plus 210. And I put a 3/4 unit, 0.75 unit on Ninja Kiwani by KO. Because I think that's how he wins. When it goes to decision, he wins more time than not. But again, similar to the way I see the small cage encouraging this matchup to the main event is, I don't know how much of the style. Because again, Hobo Cop, even if he wins by submission, I don't know if it's going to be because he's going to be going Khabib out here. And if he does, he's going to be gambling. Because if he doesn't get it, Ninja Kiwani is going to be real live for KOs in round 2 or 3 for sure then at that point. Because he's going to have done all the time grappling, and that'll actually take more out of Rodriguez, I think, than Chidi, even if Rodriguez is the one dictating and doing the offense. I played a 3/4 unit, that for KO for 150 to hopefully cover the other props that I sprinkle for the same amount. We'll see when we get there. And I'm looking at, even though it's super, I wish it was under minus 250. Right now it's minus 260. But essentially, I wouldn't pick something this high, and neither should you, for your round robins. But I like getting one chalky thing to anchor if I have like 3 other plus things. That way, even like a, let's just say a minus 250 paired with some plus thing, even if it's something at plus 100, so, you can still squeeze some money out of it, and whatnot. So I don't know if I want to go that chalky, but I've got 2 legs that I'm pretty sure that I'm positive that I'm using, a third leg that I'm leaning toward, that are all plus money. And in that case, you know me how I like to do my round robins. I like 4 legs for 6 2-teamers at 0.17 unit. Load those clips. And I like to have one super chalky, like doesn't go the distance in there, anchoring some plus methods that I feel strong about. So we'll see. But even that, because it's like, well, what if it does go to decision? Because both these guys can go to decision. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think the small cage encourages action as it should. Yeah, give me Ninja Kiwani. Excuse me, by KO. All right. Let's see. All right. Here we go. This is what the name. CSA has Kieran Fitzgibbons. That's who I was trying to mention. Great job, Ghost Phantom. Follow my man there. Brad Tashik, Hobocop's conditioning got all messed up, and now all he wants to do is pull the trigger. Too much police training. Oh my God. He wants to get in those firefights. See, folks, I'm not the only one, and you know, and I got to listen to the MMA Analysis podcast. I haven't, but like when you're packing the kind of gun that I imagine, the kind of piece that I imagine Hobocop is, you know, can you blame the guy for wanting to just, you know, walk in and fucking do Shooter McGavin's wherever he goes? I mean, I would, but yeah, I think that's a great point. So it's a little too chalky, but I definitely think the chances are this one's not going to see the final bell, regardless of what side you were on, if that helps you fortify or plan your plays. All right, I did not do tape study. I did very light study, if anything at all, of all the rest of these fights, okay, folks? So forgive me. I'm trying to train for a fight here. We got 8 ECCs, a bunch of crazy stuff. I almost just wanted to, like, call it in this week, which I'm sure you guys wouldn't bother, but it was actually a decent card. And, you know, there's some spots here that I think, you know, aren't too crazy where I was just giving us all the reasons on why tape study is important. Well, there's some fights where, you know, I may have already played without playing some tape study, which is not like me. I'm not saying you should do it. But again, it's not good. It's not something you should do. It's not something I normally do. But again, folks, I'm very honest and transparent to a fault. Honest and transparent. So I'm going to tell you what I did, why, and what I didn't do. You know, maybe why. Andre Fili. Not Andre Filaho. Andre Fili. Filaho, baby. Speaking of Shooter McGavin. Filaho right in there like Shooter McGavin. Andre Fili minus 125. What did he open at? He opened at plus 140, so money came in on Fili. I don't blame that. I probably would have jumped in on that because I'm picking Fili here against Bill Algeo plus 105. Fili worries me because, you know, I don't like to play into the chin narrative. Andre Brito is a hoss, and he just happened to catch him. You know, that could be one of those just really unfortunate. That was just really unfortunate. That's the exact kind of spots I hate as far as just matchmaking. You know, a guy trying to make his last run who's been busting his ass, had some tough breaks, and you give him an athletic cheater off the Contender Series who shouldn't even be in the same room with him. Nothing against Brito or his ceiling. I'm just saying, as far as from an meritocracy standpoint, you know, a paying your dues standpoint, I think we can respect that. That's not saying anything crazy. That's not a slight. That again, just shitty matchmaking it today. I know, Dan. You're not doing yourself any favors. Always critiquing card formats and the UFC matchmakers matchmaking. But I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we saw last week. Like, seriously, we only got the good fights after the crazy fuck up with Cumshot. That's when we get the good fights. That one card where it was like a record amount of pullouts. Then we finally got a fight card for the first time since fucking Obama was president. It feels like that we got like a lightweight to open up a main card. It was like we only get that now after like fucking injuries. Like that's why I hated looking at the Tapology format earlier this week where it was like 5-fight main card and it opened in the lightweight division and the next fight was in the featherweight division. I'm like, that's not going to last. I'm like, oh, what a snapshot into Pepperidge Farm, remember? It was back when cards made sense. I know Joe Silva was a ruthless, diminutive man, but let's be honest, he knew how to format a fight card. You put those heavyweight fights in the dark matches. I mean, Bozer, I love me some Tanner Bozer. Don't worry, you're gonna get that in your head. I love me some Tanner Bozer, but let's be honest, that's a fucking dark match, and we got Fili Algeo. That's what's gonna kick off the card, and you should have Jackson Sabatini leading in if anything, or vice versa. Anyways, Jesus. Yeah, Algeo, Fili. I think Fili's going to, oddly enough, be the better wrestler. He's got the underrated double leg, but Algeo's super scrambly, so I don't know if it's going to lead to much there. besides them scrambling. I like Fili's striking, but again, there's the chin narrative. There's, I just listened to an interview and he was just talking about movies and doing movies and being in a band and like all these things that weren't fighting, which kind of worry me too at this point of his career. It's like, well, if the chin's maybe we don't play into that is the chin going narrative, but what about the interest? Where's his interest and focus? Where's that going, right? So I got to look into this fight and refresh it a little more. I didn't tape it, but I'm leaning toward Fili. Of course, this is probably one just in case you should definitely check the quick picks and prognostications article that I do. But yeah, I get it. Since Shaman, come on, Shaman. He's only got a split decision. I know he's got the eye poke against Daniel Pineda. He was piecing him up, looking great that fight. And then gets caught by Joe Anderson Brito. So I think, people were taking advantage of a very buy low spot for Fili. So yeah, I don't blame anybody playing Fili there. I mean, you could probably justify a play from 1+125, but I like Bill Aljo, so I won't quite say that. Burns was on short notice, was planning for 135. Oh, I remember that. We tried to get to round 3, didn't we? We almost got there. Yeah, and then he beat Joe Anderson Brito by decision, but you can't do that MMA math. Yeah, it's going to be a close fight. It's not one that I really want to play, but I'm leaning toward Fili. Next fight, we got Joe Pyfer -460, Alan Amedovski +370. I thought this was going to blow up. I'm actually surprised it didn't blow up earlier in the week. Maybe everybody's so freaking burnt out, like we all are, from having to recollect and re-scramble and reshuffle from a pay-per-view week because the UFC never stops. Dan, there was actually a week off just the other week. When you never get weeks off, it doesn't feel that way, folks. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just so backlogged. And, again, not to fucking ring that bell, but I'm sorry, folks, when you get ready for something important where you can get your fucking ass kicked in front of everybody in your fucking underwear, yeah, it kind of takes the forefront of your mind. And yes, trying to cover this fucking sport and participating in it is really hard. Trying to participating in it is hard and crazy enough as it is, okay? Let's be honest here. So, yeah, I don't know why I'm going on that tangent. No one's arguing with you. Who are you arguing with? Yeah, I was like Joe Pyfer by KO, but it's going to be outbet by the time I get to it. Sure enough, Joe Pyfer by KO is chalked up. I actually took Joe Pyfer round 1 at +105, 3/4 unit. Alan Amedovski is, for people accusing me of my Extreme Couture biases, he's training at Extreme Couture. He's been training at Extreme Couture. I don't know how much it helped him against, what do you call Ugly Man Joe? What's his name in his last fight? But he's kept training here and training with good people. So I definitely am not hating on Alan Amedovski, but he's a guy who, I was, let's just say I was able to spot some, not that he was like even in crazy favorites at any point of his career, but I think people saw the name and assumed he was like some Russian cat or whatever. And he was a, what do you call? God damn it. Next to Italy, because he trained in Italy, not Moldovan. Shishka-pishka. That's the only word I know in their language, and that's a bad word. Sorry. Fuck. What is this? I'm sorry, folks. I'll find it here in a second. Macedonian. He's Macedonian. Macedonia. Yep, Macedonian. Shishka-pishka. Yeah, so I'll be happy for the dude. Not hating on him, man. He trains in my backyard, of course. Got love for him there in that sense. Trains with good people, but that doesn't mean everything, folks. And Pyfer trains and has fought good grapplers or decent grapplers as well, and that's why a lot are the reasons for a lot of his round 2 finishes. Whether the Storm finishes him in round 2, but overall he has 4 win finishes in round 2. If you include his amateur career, Joe Pyfer has 8 finishes in round 1, so the majority, double the amount in round 1. Of course, majority of Amedovski's losses when he stopped are all in round 1. So that is what I played. That will be in the round robin if it stays at plus money. And maybe, if I find something better and it goes to chalk, then maybe not. But yeah, if it stays where it is, it's not a sexy one at +105 or +110. But I will probably put it in my round robin. All right, next fight. I didn't tape that one either, but it's safe to say I'll probably be on the Pyfer side on my quick picks article.
You can't have a heavyweight. You can't have a main card without heavyweights. People are gonna think I'd like races against middleweights and heavyweights, and I'm actually like friends and have done podcasts with like UFC heavyweights and middleweights, which is funny. So I'm definitely not trying to shit there. So, you know, if any of those guys are watching, ever read my articles, I'm not hating on you guys or your divisions. It's more just shitting on the card formatting. They're not doing you guys favors. You know, you guys are great, but we got to spread you out. You know, we can't just put them all in a row. You know, the ones in the middle are gonna disappear, right? We gotta spread you out, you know, and go, ooh, plus size, right? We gotta spread it out a little bit. Damn, what the fuck are you even talking about, Dan? Tanner Bozier, the IFL's own. Yeah, he didn't compete for the IFL. He just looks and sounds like it. Just sounds like a name, Tanner Bozier, like IFL Anacondas. Tanner Bozier for the IFL Anacondas. Minus 170. Rodrigo Nascimento plus 145. Small cage, bigger man. Grapplers Nascimento. For those wanting to take the dog shot, I will be going probably with Bozier. Again, double check on my main card quick picks articles. But I can see why money is coming in on Nascimento. I'll go with Bozier. Maybe look for round 3. He doesn't want the judges to get involved. And Nascimento, I imagine, if he even if he's in better shape, he could tire himself out, selling out, and he doesn't get the sub in round 1 and sells out for it. Or doesn't go for it as hard and then doesn't have enough energy to meaningfully pursue it and then just falls apart down the stretch. It feels like a Bozier decision, but he's, again, take fighter interviews with a grain of salt, but he is adamant in his interviews to not go to the judges, and it is the smaller cage. So, I'll say Bozier by knockout, late round 2, early round 3. I'll look closer to that one to see where I stand on it as far as a method, and maybe even the pick altogether. Though it's probably a safe bet. Even when you click on my, which hopefully you do, main card quick picks and prognostications article on MMA Junkie Fight Day Saturday morning. You'll probably see Bozier pick there. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez minus 175. Marc-Andre Barriault. Fluffy opened at minus 150. So money's coming in on him. I guess it's his pacing and durability against Barriault. Marc-Andre has been well-rounding his game there. I believe he's still down at Sanford. Going to look into this one a little closer. I do like me some Marc-Andre. Durable grinder, but I don't blame people backing Fluffy here. I'm leaning toward Fluffy. You'll probably see him as my pick. I don't even want to put my foot in my mouth to see how it's going to get done. What was Fluffy's last fight here? Again, clearly studied these fights beforehand, like I told you folks. Oh yeah, Josh Fremd, who I recently watched against Hobo Cop. Beat him by decision. Just putting that pace. Of course, he killed Jiu-Jitsu Rodolfo Vieira before then. Small cage, small cage not been as good to Barriault, at least for his last loss. I know he beat Dolce, I believe, the fight before that. I'll lean Hernandez there. Check to see how and to confirm that on my main card quick picks and prognostications article. Next fight, I'm definitely going to be looking into this one. My guy, Patty Sabatini, minus 175. Damon Jackson, plus 150. I think money's been coming in on Jackson. Opened a little wider. And I don't blame it because it is kind of a weird fight. I got to look into this a little closer. But Damon Jackson has quietly been improving. Typically does not get beat by these guys. But Sabatini is just really a solid overall guy. Still doesn't look quite comfortable on the feet. I think he knows that. So maybe this is a good matchup for him, even though Damon Jackson is a willing striker. He can hurt people, so he can't be underestimated there. But you see him even against like short notice guys. Maybe perhaps that's why with like Daniel Argueta, he still get tagged up even, his more advanced age. Which I'm a big fan of experience, but for the striking, if it's only coming along, he's made improvements, but I'm not sure how much more improvements, I guess what I'm trying to say, we can expect to see at this point. It's a long fighter, which, hasn't necessarily trouble with Sabatini. He's gotten stoppages both by knockout and by submission against taller guys on the regionals and in the UFC. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Jackson out of there. In fact, I'm actually going to look what the price is by Pat Sabatini by sub. And if that's where my analysis ends up, and if the price is decent, I may both sprinkle on it and throw it into the round robin. Now, only three times has Damon Jackson been in a decision, and he's won all three. So hopefully they put a decent number by that, because generally Jackson is a do or die fighter. Sabatini doesn't seem like he's really going to gas. I know Komoela Kirk kind of had those issues. Argueta, you think, would have had those issues because he was lighter and taking it on short notice. And despite looking like, I believe, off memory, I could be talking out of my ass here, despite looking like he was going to get finished at a certain point, I believe he staged somewhat of a comeback or something. Or at the very least, Jackson started tiring, trying to finish him, which can happen as well. I mean, hence the do or die fighter, right? Charles Rosa, who can kind of go decision with everybody. Hard to put too much into that. But yeah, I'm curious of what that decision line is. Let's see what the odds are favoring it to go. And I'm trying not to commit to anything until I do some tape refresher. It's definitely favored to go over. Let's see. Fight goes to decision. Minus 200. Yeah, wow. Okay, so it's favored to go to decision. But again, Damon Jackson has never lost a decision in his 27 fight career as a pro, whereas Sabs has been in decision 7 times in 19 fights, won 5, lost 2 of them. I believe one of them was a split decision, which you could have made an argument, and that was a decent regional guy, more than decent regional guy, Jose Mariscal. And then, of course, Robert Watley, who is a southpaw. And likes to strike and has some underrated wins against like Thiago Moises and other guys, by the way. Robert Watley, that's who Patty Sabatini lost. That was up at 155 as well, by the way, folks. So those are the 2 decisions he's lost. Every other decision Pat Sabatini's won. This fight is favored to go to decision, and Sabatini inside plus 250. Sabatini wins by decision plus 130. What did you open at, motherfucker? What did you open at? What did I miss? Did it open at plus 225? Let's see. No, it opened at plus 125, so that's where it's at. Again, not big chalk, but I may put that in a round robin, if not play it outright. Pat Sabs. I got to see where my analysis lines up, folks. It may not. That's where I'm leaning, but that just seems like it. Tough vet test, hard guy to put away. It's going to be some scary moments. He might actually be able to hurt him on the feet. Jackson. That actually be my more worry than him getting a sub is either knocking Jackson out, because Pat Sabatini, he's actually got like accurate spin kicks and things like that, and has hit guys with head kicks before. I think he's got like a black belt from like Tung Sudo, probably when he was a kid and grew up doing it or something. But like he can strike, but you can tell he's much more confident. He's more just like grind set, on the ground, which is the kind of guys I love to bet on too, though. So, knockout or club and sub could be on the table for Pat, but I just think it's more likely it goes to the decision here. So I'll be looking to play that. Probably put that in a round robin. All right. There's Hey, my guy Jerry Harper, finally catching one of these kind of live and watching my guy Jerry Harper. I know he plays a round robin, and he was doing well when I couldn't, and I was giving you guys what to do. So shouts to the guys like Jerry of the world out there. Brad Tashuk, under 2.5 plus 205 here immediately caught my eye. I've seen way too many White Leech fights to pass that up. Which fight you talking about there, Brad? I'm sorry, I didn't check this enough. White Leech. Oh, that's White Leech. That's Jackson and Sabatini. I got you. Okay. All right. Let me see. You're getting a nice plus number on that, and either Sabatini, fucks up and loses to the vet, and he gets his, maybe some kind of gives his neck or something, right? Because he's going to be giving his neck to Leach, so there'll be a lot of those close calls. Like, is it in? Is it in? Oh, he's out, and there'll be those scares, right? Like, there's going to be those scares, and then Sabatini. I still think it's going to be hard to sub Jackson outright. But he can't hurt Jackson. Jackson's hurtable, and Sabatini, even though he doesn't look confident in his striking, he's hurt guys multiple times and even finished guys with strikes throughout his career. So he's got the skills. So I'm not hating on that play, but I'm still going to be looking for some Sabatini decision. If my analysis goes there, I'll still probably end up taking that, even though, again, who knows? Maybe I end up on the other side, and that under then looks really nice. If I end up on the other side and think there's a finish, then that under is great coverage. So, yeah, more power to you. All right, let's work our way down this. Aspen Ladd, -130. She's favored? She opened as the dog and money came in. Is everyone like, everybody listen to Brad's podcast and they're like, they took the no offense, Mom Quit McMahon name too seriously? Because I actually like McMahon here. I like the Mamas, -180. Yeah, I think that opened right. Does someone know something we don't know about? That shifted fast and stayed that way. I'm gonna look a little closer into this one. Maybe do some social media studying. See if some posts are a little too vacant, and see who's being a little open and how they look. But yeah, if Ladd is still at her training thing, I don't know. Like, she can do a third round comeback for sure. And, like, you look like a genius betting that plus money on McMahon, because we've seen Ladd do that with against another mama, Yana Kunitskaya, or as I like to say, Mama Kunitskaya. We saw her do that round 3 comeback where her relationship in the corner buoyed her, you could say, right? In its defense, I guess. But I'm not confident in that. I'm not confident in what's going on there. I got to see what McMahon's been doing. I want to say maybe she changed camp or something. But Insta. But yeah, I'm gonna be looking at I'm probably looking at this fight just because of that number. I was gonna pick McMahon and just stay away, but I'll probably still stay away. But I mean, I don't know. I'm more intrigued now because Aspen Ladd is more of a TKO person. She really going to out-wrestle McMahon? I mean, she really got to make her quit to get position in for strikes. I don't think she's going to submit the brown belt under Marcelo Garcia, that is Sarah McMahon. Where she be training at these days? I don't know. I do not know. Let's see here. Yeah. I hate doing this stuff on air, so yeah, who knows? We'll see where I end up on that fight again at Dan Tom MMA to see where I end up. Trevin Giles. Jay Giles. Trevin Giles. 2-1 favorite over Luis Koski, huh? Wow, okay. I'll lean Jay Giles, but this is not a fight that I want to... I don't even know if I want to look into this fight because I don't want to bet it. I haven't even looked into it and I don't want to bet it, especially those numbers. What the heck's Luis Koski coming off of? I feel like he's been a name forever, waiting to get booked. Yeah, since Victor Reina lost Sasha Palatnikov, and now he's got Jay Giles. Yeah, I'll go Giles, but it's hard to trust him. He just he can give it away too and make it a little too close, you know. Yeah. Let's go to Jillian Robertson -140, Maria Agapova +120. I didn't even look at this, and I blind bet Robertson by sub at +240 for 3/4 unit. That was the one I hinted to, as far as if if the Cheaty one pays, it could pay off of Joe Pyfer round 1 in case that doesn't hit, which, I feel pretty decent about. We'll see, of course. And this one, I mean, Jillian Robertson's let me down plenty of times. Shouts to my guy, Dan Levy. What's his saying that he always says is, when I die, I want someone's, I want so-and-so to lower me in the casket so they can let me down one last time. I don't know if I've taken that many shots on Robertson to say that, but I definitely have that reaction when this fight came up. And again, don't do this, folks. But yeah, I kind of blind betted this one just because. Shouts to my guys, Wes Colvin and Lance Fishel, MMA Gamblers from the MMA Analysis Podcast. This is the one where we were standing outside whatever bar or restaurant we were going to eat at before 272, the Covington Masvidal fight. And I forget, I had round 2 sub. Someone else had sub, and someone else had Moreau's and something. And so we all had steaks that could have fallen on the same side. And then she gets the sub in the round for like us all three to cash. And we're like trying to finish our drinks before we go into the restaurant. And there's like, it's like a strip mall, right? It's a Planet Hollywood, right? It's like Blondie's. We're out front of Blondie's. And there's people just walking, like just casual people, just tourists doing their shopping, you know, looking at the sites, just like walking like in front and behind us. And we're just like, we're kind of muttering to ourselves like, come on. And all of a sudden the sub hits and we go, ah, fuck yeah. And the people are just like walking like, and they were like, the fuck was that? So maybe I'm riding off of that high. Maybe it's my, you know, and again, Jillian Robertson, I forget, my guy Aaron Bronstetter posted something by the numbers. I mean, she sets records for finishes in her division, so I'm betting a record-setting finisher to finish at plus money. I mean, you could do worse, folks. You don't have to follow me off this cliff, but this is definitely going to be in the round robin, and I already laid 3/4 units on Robertson by sub. Yeah, I you know, she's got it on a wild woman, Priscilla Cachoeira, before with the eye gouges. I think she can get it on a wild woman in Agapova, which is the way to beat her. So, yeah, I like that. I actually thought it was going to be more priced lower. We'll see. We'll see what it does. Not that it's some kind of guarantee or L word or anything like that, by all means. You know me, I don't use that. I don't count on that. But that's where I'm at with that fight. Denise Gomez plus 170. Loma Lokbomi minus 200. You know I'm going with my girl Loma. I don't even know this other girl, and I'm going with Loma. I may look into this fight though, because if I do a parlay, maybe I look at Loma. But I probably would want to stay away from the WMMA. No offense, even though I love me Loma. You guys asked me about her before. I'm a big Loma Lokbomi fan. Denise Gomez, she fought Contender Series this year, and I still don't even remember her. Wow. See, that's what I mean by Dunbar's number, folks. I wrote her up. I'm sure I have a grade on her. And I don't remember crap. So I'll have to go back and look at that. I'm sorry. Look, that just happened this season, too. Like, that's how much fights. Again, this is why the weeks off don't matter, is because they're fucking saturating us with so much damn MMA. We don't even know. I don't even know this fighter from my own asshole. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not talking about looks. I'm just saying, like, it's gonna take some feeling around for a second. Easy. But, you know, there's too many of them. There's too many to keep track of. Not too many assholes, but you know what I mean. Too many fighters to keep track of, folks. So yeah, that's always a tough one. Let's see here. Brad saying off that story. There are a few things more exhilarating than life than a live Wes Colvin reaction to hitting a big ticket. Absolutely, man. At True UK fan, he is as much fun live as he is watching live on your guys' program there or listening to. That's for dang sure. Alvin Yakitori, such great detail into your work. I don't like to gamble, but this type of analysis helps me appreciate MMA fighters to a higher degree. I'm really glad that you non-gamblers get appreciation out of this, because analysis is my main thing. So it should be, right? So that really warms my heart. Thank you. Jerry Harper, I'm parlaying Sabatini and Pfeiffer basically for even money. That was something I was thinking about maybe too, but again, is that a dangerous matchup that I'm doing, and I'm just going high on my Sabatini love, right? So I would definitely, I know Pfeiffer is an obvious parlay piece choice, but the next fighter I maybe would look at it too again. But it's another thing of I'm just really freaking high on this guy, and that is Daniel Zellhuber, who is going off at a minus 315 favorite, although I believe he opened lower at minus 240 over Trey Ogden. I got to go relook at this fight, but Zellhuber is a guy I actually remember and was damn impressed by. Real high ceiling. He's also been training around at Extreme Couture. I haven't gotten to train with him, but this kid is really good, man. Yeah, I'm really high on him. I know you don't get much preparing him with Pfeiffer, which is why you need a third, which is maybe why I look toward the Loma Lookbomi or, maybe not Patty Sabs, maybe Patty Sabs. Either way, I love Patty Sabs. I'm picking Patty Sabs. I'll be playing Patty Sabs in some form, so I'm not trying to talk anybody out of that. It's definitely crossed my mind as well. But again, guys, you guys know me. I've been pussing out on a lot of parlays, and when I did go for one, I had to hedge out of it. Thank goodness I did that last week, right? So I mean, it's not my excitement for parlays haven't been great. I haven't been doing them. I haven't been missing them. I've been winning without them, and I've almost been losing because of them. So don't take my word too strong. But yes, I am always keeping my eyes on parlay pieces, because there are a lot of parlay players out there. So whether or not I want to play them, I want to give you guys the referential information that I assume you're here for. All right, I'm going to be picking Zell Huber. I didn't tape this fight, though, to be honest, so I'm going to look into it a little more. But I really like Zell Huber. He's a guy who really, really impressed me, and I do remember coming off the Contender Series and did get a meaningful A, if not A+. Javid Basharat, minus 155. Tony Gravely, plus 150. What did this open at? I saw the Basharat brothers trading at Extreme Couture. I want to say it was his brother, but then I think it was Javid because it was like a Tony Gravely looking dude who he had with him, and like they were just doing wall drills where like he had dudes shooting on him, and he was just countering and doing his stuff. So I was like, oh, is that maybe he's getting ready for Gravely? I don't know. But either way, I'm really impressed what I've seen from the Basharat brothers. And that's not saying anything crazy. Like, what? Oh, you're telling me he had someone shoot on him because he's fighting a wrestler? Like, of course, that's not giving away any family secret recipes there. So I'm not sharing anything crazy there by saying that. But yeah, they've been impressive. They've been around. It feels weird seeing Gravely at plus money because he always feels like the favorite that's going to shit the bed. So, did Basharat open? Yeah, they opened even. So yeah, that makes me worry. The hype guy off the Contender Series. You know what I'm saying? Like, a more proven wrestler, more experienced wrestler, and Gravely plus money. This is definitely where I would be looking as far as my biases go. I'm gonna look more into the matchup. Probably lean toward Basharat though, so I've really been impressed with him, and Gravely I've been kind of looking to pick against. Anyways, nothing personal. He feels like he's going to get upset here in a second, And this wouldn't really be an upset because it opened as a pick'em and he's now the dog, but you get what I'm saying. So stand by to see where I'm at on fight day at Dan Tom MMA. Lastly, but not leastly, Nicholas Mota, minus 195. Cameron Van Camp, plus 165. Mota's another guy I'd be looking at too. He's been training at Extreme Couture, training with some really good people. Hafia Sunsao, who I ran into the other day, and I don't talk to much people or anything. I'm weird like that, and I felt like a big dork, even going up to talk to a Sunsao. Unless like I know these guys or have like met some kind of connection or whatever, but like I don't know. I just feel like he's a guy that like he's walking around, no one even recognizes him, and that's probably more and more the case as he gets older. And he probably doesn't get a lot of love, so I was like, I'm gonna go get this guy some fucking love, man. I just. Like, you're the man, Hafi, man. I just want to say I appreciate, respect your styles. Like, just giving him love and stuff. And he's like, thanks, man. He's like, I gotta win, man. He's like, he's locked in. He's like, I've been down here at Extreme Couture. And, but yeah, he's just like, was like taken back. Someone was actually like dug his style and appreciated his style and stuff. I was like, dude, fucking technical dude, man. Love that shit. Mota's been training a lot with him. I think I saw him getting rounds with a bunch of other pros too, of course. Just a lot of good people to train with there. But yeah, but he can be hurt though. He can be hurt. I'm gonna look closer into this one. What did Mota open at? Minus 230, opened higher, so you're getting a little bit of a discounted price. We'll see. I'll see where I end up with that one, folks. Alrighty here. Gonna clean up on some things. I'm going to double back, don't worry, for the Zhang Weili questions before we get out of here. Ghost Phantom. Gomes likes to run in on a straight line while walking and punching. Sounds about right. Seems like perfect matchup for Loma. Sure, yeah, maybe physicality is the thing in the small cage. Is the only thing that I worry about Loma. Not that she's can't comport herself in the clinch, but she's fighting at serious size discrepancies, even at strawweight. Jerry Harper, Sabs cashes tickets, baby. That's right. Let's hope so. Jerry Harper says, hey, easy on Gravely and the bed shitting. Same hometown from VA Foothills. There we go. Hey, I didn't say bed shitting, but yeah, he feels like he can't drop the ball, but man, he's seems like a nice dude and trains hard and really talented. Feels like there's a ton of value on him, man. So even if I end up picking Basharat, I don't know. I definitely won't be laying the chalk to disrespect Gravely in that regard. So no disrespect here. Gonna double back real quick up to the top. We had some questions. Here we go. Unily Park. Are you familiar with the Hickman brothers? Yes, they have been working with Loma and Whaley. Yep, they also been working with my guy John Young Ko. Has a good relationship with them. Shouts to my guy John Young Ko, training down there at Bangtown Muay Thai. Kimball Mercer, what's up, Kimball? Kimball says, why do Chinese athletes keep getting disrespected like Zhang Weili and Song Yadong? Weili is incredibly skilled, but they call her a buzzsaw and a wild brawler. I'm not an expert, but it seems like both are skilled. They are both very skilled. Yeah, it's tough. You got, the unfortunately geopolitics and however role that plays into people, whether their coverage, their perception as viewers, or even people that present the sport or the fighters themselves, right? So you've got that part of it, of course. Asian in general, not just Chinese, is typically, some of the most foreign to Western audiences, and, people, especially in my country aren't the best at, being educated or respectful amongst other foreign customs. And even when you got people like myself who should know better, you got people like myself who, will, make immature jokes or something like that, even though, I don't feel like I overdid the Song Yadong jokes or whatever that typically people make. But to be fair to myself, I make any kind of jokes related to dick because I'm 9 years old at heart. But no, yes, as far as any kind of disrespect and we've seen real again, whether it was Orichi Long, the Mongolian murderer who was told to go back to China from Cody Durden, or you got Rose, right, to Zhang Weili, Better Dead Than Red. You got I don't know if you can track it down because it's just a piece of media that I posted to tweet Cheeto Vera's diatribe he went on when he lost to Song Yadong, where he was like, hey, at least fucking Chinaman. And then I posted the clip from Big Lebowski. The Chinaman is not the issue here, dude. The preferred nomenclature is Asian American, please. Which is not the preferred nomenclature for someone like Song Yadong. Of course, he's not Asian American. He's a Chinese national. But yeah, to deny that we see Chinese fighters at the bulk of this would be factually incorrect. And it's historically incorrect because, again, MMA is a North American-centric sport, and in North America, whether you have, America's deep history, xenophobic history, anti-Chinese history, to even countries who, do so much. I always tip that to my Canadian brothers and sisters who do a much better job than our country as far as their crime rates and a whole bunch of other stuff and how they handle stuff, but they are also North American and are also one of the leaders in anti-Chinese hate. So, and again, this is a North American-centric sport, right? So you see a lot of that stuff bleeding a lot more. And I've said this before. I'm kind of going over the same ground, but Kimball, I appreciate you always participating in this chat. I don't think you've asked that before, so I wanted to respectfully answer your assumptions, which, again, do show. Jimmy Kudo, what's good about Team Alpha Male besides beefing with Tom Cruise all day? It's tough, man. I don't want to speak or say what I don't know. They seem to be doing good business for whatever that's worth. But as far as my concern, as far as our concern, we're looking at performances, whether we're technical nerds who appreciate this game or our gamblers looking for an edge. And although there is plenty of stuff to definitely knock them while they were down, they have made improvements. So I was just trying to be positive and highlight some of the improvements, which mainly expand to kind of outsourcing how it goes from there. But yeah, I don't know. I've never trained there, so I don't want to shit where I don't speak. I don't want to be like my guy Schwan Humes and have them coming after me. By the way, shout out to my guy Black Jordan Breen. It was great hearing him. Shout out to Steffi Hayes on the Bloody Elbow podcast feed. All right, let's see the last questions and we'll get out of here. I got to get ready to go train and hopefully not get my head and head punched or kicked off in big glove sparring tonight. And hopefully my toenail hangs on too. I got to find a way to tape my body parts are falling off, which is fun. You guys want to hear about that, right? Jimmy Kudo, does Loma wrestling with the best straw weight on the planet Whaley help? I'm just sure training with Whaley helps a lot, for sure. Which helps my Loma look for me enthusiasm. Not just wrestling, but technical sparring and sparring coaches. Yeah, all of the above. You're absolutely right, Jimmy Kudo. I think so. Hey, my guy Eric Betts Fights. Shout out to my guy Eric. Give him a follow. Yo, thanks for the work you put in, sir. Love the show. I love you, Eric. Thank you, buddy. Good people over there. All right, folks. Thank you guys for watching live. I'm going to get out of here and go get ready for training. 5:52. Yeah, I got to go get ready for training. I'll have an audio episode uploaded later. I'm going to go train tomorrow, then go to the vet. Meet my guy Tommy for lunch. See my grandma later for dinner. Go maybe get a run-in somewhere. Go train some more on Saturday. Go train some more on Sunday with my old BCG crew. Lovato Jr. on Monday. Grinds on the morning. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go. Who needs a break? Who needs time to clean and organize and, sleep and eat? We'll do that later. Yeah. Someone asked how my camp was going. It's that there. I just gave you guys my schedule. It's a grind. I got it. I didn't get as much training in as I like. I didn't get as much tape study in as I like. It feels like I'm not getting in as much as everything that I like. So I'm trying to balance everything. It's a pain in the ass. It's tough, man. It's really tough. Back to my guy. Shouts to my guy Alvin Yakitori. I don't mean to be disrespectful, and we should always check all ourselves because, not to say we can't have fun and make jokes or anything like that. It's all good fun. But I'm just saying we got to respect at the end of the day what these fighters put themselves through and what they're risking. It's not fun. It's a lot of hard work. So good luck with your picks and plays, folks. And always protect your neck.